Violet Sky said, are you taking steps to prevent your art from being used in AI? Is there anything that can be done? AI thing. AI is so interesting because people will argue they're not stealing it, they're being inspired by it. It's copying the pixels in the same order the other pixels were. That's a copy. If I did that in my art, I just want to clarify this because people like to get all freaked out about the AI's not copying. It's copying the same way that I would, and it's not legal for me to do that. I can't legally look at a photo or a painting from somebody else unless it's like Van Gogh where it's outside of copyright. Somebody used that as an excuse, saying, well, artists are copying Van Gogh and we don't sue them. Yeah, because it's legal. You can't take a current modern artist and copy their work. I can't do that, so AI shouldn't be able to do it either. You can't say, well, it's just being inspired by it. I can't be inspired to the extent that you can recognize that as me copying something. Like, it's the same thing. It's word games. We need the law to get involved. And I think that it will get caught up. It's just not there yet. I have heard that some of the different AIs are starting to limit where they get their references or their inspiration. They're just copying pixels. It's the same thing. Reword it however you want. Walks like a duck, looks like a duck. It's a freaking copyright violation. So that is not it's a little frustrating for me. But I think that we just need the law to catch up with it because it is essentially stealing. If it looks just like my art, I don't care how you worded it, it's still like that is still copying. If you copied it at the same level that the AI is, you could be sued. So why isn't the AI? There's this weird loophole, the legal thing. The law just needs to catch up with the technology. How long that'll take, I don't know. That is a concern. There's nothing we can do about it. It's kind of a nightmare right now, so hopefully that is something that will be corrected in the future. But it always cracks me up because AI art is a weird thing. You've got a camp of people who are very unbalanced. Overall, I watched some of their videos and they cry a lot in their videos. It's kind of weird. But some of these artists are crying literally about AI. There's no reason to do art and I'm not going to be able to make money because AI, people are just going to use AI for everything. People have said that about every single advancement in technology. They've said it about every single advancement in medium. There was a point where people said no one would oil paint anymore because they're just going to use acrylic paints, and oil painters were upset about that. Everybody's always claiming the sky is falling over something. This is not one of those things that I think is that big of a deal. I read a lot, and I know I've talked about this a bit before, but there are a lot of people who are coming in and telling stories and they're repeating the same story of something that happened. It's freaking fan fiction. They're going to Reddit because Reddit is like land of not geniuses and liars, really, and they just make up these stories. Oh yeah, well, this happened to me one day, and you're like, that didn't happen. No one would word something in the way you just worded it. So I know just based on that, like there's so many red flags in your little fan fiction that didn't happen. So there's a lot of stories coming up on Reddit, is usually where they originate from, where people are like, well, this one guy was working on a book for somebody, they were illustrating it, and then the guy who hired him came back and they hadn't finished paying him, but they said, you know what, we're not going to hire you, we're going to use your work in AI and have the AI finish it. I know you'll understand. The ending with I know you'll understand was just like the cherry on the top of the BS cake that you just made up that whole story. That didn't happen. These stories of people losing money, and it's mostly out of the UK. They're the main artists that are losing money right now. Why would it be the UK and not? This is all international. Why would it just be out of the UK? Again, you throw in these details, like they want to throw in extra details into their stories, and it's like, and now I know you're full of BS. Like, I know you're making it up, because that's not how that works. And it's so frustrating to me. So you've got this camp of artists who are freaking out. There's no reason to be an artist anymore, and kids are going to grow up and not want to do art because they can't make a living from it. That's been a challenge the entire history of art. Making a living out of art has always been a challenge for us. So we need to adapt with it. I actually am a huge fan of AI right now because I'm using it in Premiere Pro when I edit my videos. They have an AI thing for auto-generated captions and it's really accurate, even with how fast I talk, super accurate. It's changing the music. I don't know if you watched any of my last few shorts, my YouTube shorts. The music. I took a song that was like 3 minutes long and just used this AI portion of Premiere Pro and edited it, and it cut it in a way. It remixed the song so it sounded like it was as long as my video, like exact. And you can't even tell it cut it. You can't tell it read it. It's amazing what some of this can do. The AI technology right now, I'm more interested in how we can utilize it for our art. I would like to see AI get to the point where I can be like, okay, here's this chickadee, but I want lighting that's super strong coming from this side. What happens if we adjust the lighting and you could do kind of a 3D model of moving it around, or I don't know. I'm interested in seeing where AI goes, where as artists we can use it to do even like to better ourselves, to better our own work. This could be good for us, but we have too many people right now who are crying, telling us it's the end of the world. Now, the copyright thing, I have a huge issue with that. That needs to be fixed. I just spit. That is super classy. Aren't you glad you are in the other room right now? But anyway, the AI thing, the people who are freaking out about it, they're actually discouraging young artists because they're telling them there's no point anymore. And I'm like, why are you telling people that? That's not true. That's just not true. Their art will always be a difficult job to make a living, a consistent living on. That is the nature of how art works. You've got to figure out how to maneuver through like all our little hoops and jumps and obstacle courses. I don't know how I screwed that up, but we've got to figure that out. So that's not changed other than we're always trying to adapt. Freaking out about AI, those artists, you're going to see those. There's so many videos on here of literally crying, having a mental breakdown. And it's like, sweetie, you need to get some help otherwise, because this is not. So this is kind of a weird thing, because there's just these two camps of end of the world, and then this camp over here saying it's not copying, it's not stealing your work, it's just being inspired, just like an artist. And it's like, you don't understand how copyright works for artists. We can't just be inspired, aka copy somebody else's art or somebody else's photo that we don't have rights to. This is just, it's ridiculous, some of the claims I'm hearing on this. So it's kind of a frustrating thing, because I fall more in the middle, where I'm just kind of coming at it logically and going, okay, not based on emotion, based on actual facts on how copyright works, based on actual facts on how the art world works. Nothing, it's not that extreme, but we do need to fix, like I said, need to fix the copyright issue. That I have a huge problem with. I just rambled about that for way longer than what your actual question was.